Hello and welcome to a quarterly romance book club. I'm here with Chloe from the Brunette Bibliophile. And this quarter, we have read Dating Dr. Dill by Nisha Sharma. Yes, I have my book of the month copy here as well. And so we're going to talk a little bit about it in regards to our initial thoughts. We'll summarize the book, and then I will let you know when we're jumping into spoiler territory. If you haven't read it, obviously go read it, come back and watch this later. Or if you don't mind spoilers, then whatever, stick around. But Chloe, can you go ahead and give us that summary?
So this book, I'm going to wing it because the synopsis on the inside confused me before I read this book. So we have our main character, Karina, here, who still lives at home. She took a new job that has like a pay cut to it. She really loves love and she wants a love match. Or not even just a match. She just wants to marry for love. And one day she meets this guy. What's his name? Is his name Prem? But he has a show called like the Dr. Dill Show or something like that. And she accidentally goes viral on his show on like her sister's like live stream or something like that. They have this huge argument, which makes them both go viral. And they are both kind of in hot water for it, essentially. Additionally, Karina's father is going to retire and move to Florida and is going to sell her mom's house. And she wants to keep the house, but she doesn't have enough money for it. So if she can get engaged by like the deadline, then she gets like money for a down payment on the house. So they both kind of they both need help with their own problems, and you know the rest ensues, if you will.
And yeah, I was gonna jump into spoilers, but I will wait a little bit. So what did you read it before I did? So how'd you feel about it?
So I give it 4.5 stars. I did give it 4.5 stars. I kind of was blind going into this book because when I read the synopsis initially, I was confused. But when you read the book, it makes more sense how the whole like going viral thing happened. So the first part of the book was a little bit slow for me, but as the book went on, it was really picking up steam, and I loved it. And I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. This is definitely like I've never read anything by Nisha Sharma before, but it's definitely something that I want to like read the sequel to and maybe look into some of her other work. I know she's written some YA books as well, too. So I don't know. I really liked it. I'm excited for the second one.
I liked it too. I gave it 4 stars, just like you. I'm going to check out some of her other works. I don't know if you mentioned it, but this is supposed to be a retelling of The Taming of the Shrew. William Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew.
Which I know nothing about.
Yeah, I haven't read that either, but for those that have. And so this is an adult contemporary romance. I don't know if I felt that the beginning was slow. I honestly feel like there was a lot going on in the book overall because even though her sister was like a secondary character, I felt like a lot of it was kind of about her and that like how they were being compared, especially in their family. But I really enjoyed it. I think I don't think there was like a ton of sex scenes, but the ones that we did get, I felt were fairly spicy.
I was gonna say like there was a good couple.
I think there might have been like 3, but you know, I was definitely hanging on the love story aspect and figuring out how that was gonna all fall into place. You know, what the happily ever after was gonna be at the end. So I think at this point we can probably jump into spoilers.
Yes.
Did you listen to the audiobook at all?
Yes. And did it have? I think it had a full cast, so 2 narrators.
It had 2 narrators, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was alternating between Preem and Karina.
I had to think about it for a second because I remember I was reading this when we were on our retreat. So I was listening to it on the way up, and then I like paused for the retreat and then was listening on the way down. So I was like, did I listen to the audiobook? I can't remember.
I think there were references to Karina's family being Punjabi, I think. I don't remember what they said about Preem, but both his family and her family were wanting them to be in like arranged marriages. And of course, Karina, seeing her parents, whether their marriage was arranged or not, she saw that they loved each other and she wanted to have that same thing. So I just feel like it's just really interesting to kind of see those 2 sides of it, and the aunties are always my favorite.
Yeah, I liked how they kind of like butted in, and it was almost like they like planted the idea in their brains about how they should be together, and then the Karina and Prem kind of just went with it and were like, okay, well, maybe we can do like a fake engagement kind of thing. I know Karina was like very against it, but it was almost like it was like planted, and then the rest was everybody else.
Well, I think the funny thing was that like had they been completely left to their own devices and her sister had not been involved, they would have had that initial hookup at the bar because they were obviously attracted to each other. It was kind of like, while those words weren't being used and it wasn't necessarily being explained that way, it was clearly like a love at first sight for them. So
can we talk about the sister for a second, because I hated her. She was like a brat.
She was a brat.
Time. I'm trying to find her name again. But yeah, she the entire time was like, it's all about me, blah, blah, blah. I need money for my engagement party. Well, you've already used all your money and all, like, it was a whole thing. I'm trying to find her name. It started with a B, I think.
Yeah.
I want to say it was like Bunty or something like that. Oh, it Bindu. Yeah, she was a brat. She irritated me at the end when she was like, I went and eloped, and I'm like, thank God, honestly.
I mean, there was so much stress on everybody for everything. Like,
yes, and honestly, she's supposed to be like a college professor. I'm like, how? Like, you sound like a child.
I don't remember what they said her YouTube channel was about.
Oh yeah, she was a college professor and she had a YouTube channel.
Yeah, she was an influencer.
Right. I'm gonna find that. I feel like it was somewhere in the beginning. But it's just like, oh my God.
Because like that was like the whole reason for her being on the Dr. Dill show.
Yes. But I can't remember why she was on the Dr. Dill show.
You know,
is it about love? I don't remember.
I don't know. Probably something related to that, unless like her YouTube channel was related. No, I don't think it was related to her wedding or anything like that. Like wedding or anything.
I feel like it was fairly early on.
What I think is funny is that I have no idea why, but I was waiting for there to be a big reveal in regards to her fiance.
I thought that her and the fiance would end up breaking up.
Yeah, something like that. Like because they kept building him up and talking about how good of a guy he was and how awesome. And I just felt like at some point it was going to spin, and and either they were going to find out he was cheating on her, or I don't know, just some twist I thought was going to be in there.
Well, here's why I thought it. When I had seen not the announcement of the title of the next book, but like hey, I'm going to be announcing the title post while I was reading it, the author had said like, oh, this is, so and so's book. And because there's like 2 or 3 characters that have names that start with the letter B, I thought one of them was the sister, and I was like, oh, I was like, something's going to happen, and then it never happened.
So what is the second book that you said? It's like more like a companion book, not necessarily like a sequel.
Yeah, it's like, why can't I think of an example off the top of my head? Like, I don't know, it follows a character that's in this book, but
kind of like a spinoff.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Let's see. This, I don't know. It doesn't say what it's a retelling of, but it's about Bunty and Bobby. I guess Bunty was one of her friends, maybe. Maybe that's why I thought it was one of the sisters, or thought it was the sister. I don't know. I'm going to keep poking around and see. I found the name of the YouTube channel, but I can't figure out what it's about again.
I think, like, Preem was kind of written. He sounded like the perfect guy, really. And even his rationale for why he didn't believe in love or didn't fall in love was fairly rational. I feel like I thought it was a good reason, not like, although it's funny because Karina kept calling him a Desi fuckboy, and he was like, I'm not that. But he had like all the criteria and all the elements and everything that he needed to fall in love and have a great relationship. He just didn't want to call it love,
He has a tortured past, I think.
He does.
Also, apparently, she's just a popular lifestyle influencer.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah. Maybe that's part of why he not necessarily doesn't believe in love, but is ready to just like for the convenience of it. I don't know.
Well, it sounded like he just felt like love was damaging and not permanent, like when you make a commitment to somebody, that's something that you kind of do every single day. You continue making that commitment versus love that could be something you fall in and out of, that's chemical, that affects your body in different ways. So I don't know. I liked that being his problem. I just thought it was an interesting problem to have.
I mean, didn't he say that he wasn't in love with the other person, his fiance prior, but she died, so
yeah, but he didn't call it that though.
Oh,
like because even when he was talking to Karina, he was like, yeah, I was in a relationship and we had everything, we had commitment and we had shared values and we had all this other stuff, but he was like, you don't need love.
It just makes me think of like Rick and Morty, where it's like love is just a chemical in our brain compelling us to breed.
I mean, that's kind of what he was saying. But he also threw in saying that love can damage the heart, that can actually physically damage the heart. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Well, how did you feel about Karina as a character?
I liked her. I think she had overall like good motives, but my problem with her is she had this perfect solution right in front of her, and she kept going, no, I'm gonna go to the dating site, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And then there was like that whole scene with like she went to some stranger's house to play Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm like, what? I don't know. It was just, she had a solution right in front of her that she could have taken at any point, and she just kept refusing to take it. I'm like, you have somebody who's willing to do this garbage for you.
I know, but like, she just felt like it would have been settling because he was never going to love her. Although, I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, he was trying really hard for someone who was insisting that he couldn't love her.
Yes.
I did love that.
Maybe internally he knew that he loved her, but didn't want to admit it to himself.
He did have friends that were kind of trying to be like, hey, maybe you love her.
There was a scene with them that was so funny. I wonder if I can find it. Like when they showed up after she had stayed the night. So oh my god. Let's see. So okay, while I look for that, so the little cuts with like the Indians abroad news, did it remind you of Bridgerton?
A little bit it did. A tiny bit.
I was like, this is Bridgerton. I don't know, the way that the audiobook did the scene where the friends showed up after she stayed the night, it was just so funny for some reason, like the way that the voice actor did that. Yeah, I don't know if I can find it.
I feel like Karina was just very headstrong and super spunky. Mm-hmm. Maybe at times like a little too much. Because she seemed like there's just times where she seemed very combative with Preem, because it seemed like he was just trying to do right by her or help her out or like show good intentions, but she kind of like twisted it around and kept trying to make him out to be the bad guy, I guess.
And how she also she loved cars too, and working on that car. And I found that to be it was kind of like random in the sense that it felt very different from everything else that was happening in the book. Sometimes I would forget about it and then it would like pop back up and I was like, oh yeah, forgot about that.
I mean, it almost seemed like she just loved anything that could remind her of her mom.
Yeah.
Because that was a grief that she was dealing with, just missing with her mom and wanting to have what her mother had. And it sounded like her mom was just a very happy and loving person and just missing that energy and wanting to have that.
Yeah.
And so, the two main characters, they also ended up just like connecting in regards to the grief they both have been experiencing and living with. I can't imagine how difficult it would be to move on after losing your significant other.
Did it say how long it had been? I can't remember.
I'm sure it probably did, but I don't think I remember. I feel like it might have been like 3 years, but I'm not, don't quote me on that. I just know that like when her parents came into town and he was like talking to her parents.
Oh yeah.
Like that was fairly awkward and heartbreaking for everyone, I'm sure. Like, I don't know how just all of that.
And the dad would like refer to him as his son-in-law, even though they were never legally married.
And like, I know like my husband and I have had conversations in regards to like, what do we want to happen? For me, I'm like, if I'm dead, please find someone else, like be happy. Like, I don't know if John necessarily feels that way, but I don't know why you would ever want your significant other just to grieve you indefinitely, but I'm sure it's still hard.
I mean, I guess he just reached the point. Well, who was his mom was nagging him about finding a wife. what was his reasoning for going into this deal? I can't even remember now. Was it because of her?
Because of what happened with Karina damaged his reputation, and so he lost the investor for the
right. Oh yeah, and he's opening his own practice.
Yeah, the community medical center or whatever he was trying to create.
Yes, that's such a huge plot point. How did I forget that? I'm gonna look up what else she's written, because I wonder if she's written any other like adult books. I know she's written YA. Excuse me. Okay, let's see. And I don't think they have the next book in this series on Goodreads yet. Let's see. Okay, I recognize some of the YA titles.
I think there was at least one. I think, is it My So-Called Bollywood Life or something like that?
Yeah, that's one.
That's been on my wish list.
This one's, let's see. Yeah, I don't recognize anything else that she's written. I'm excited. I wonder if the cover, okay, this is kind of not about the book at all, but I kind of wonder if the cover is going to like match this, because I hadn't heard that much about this book, but I'd seen the cover going around and I was like, well, that's an interesting looking cover. But I wonder if it's going to match. I'm really glad that I ended up picking this from Book of the Month.
Yeah, me too. I would imagine maybe they would somewhat match, like kind of have like illustrations on the cover. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, if they're part of the same series. Although, like, unless it's in Book of the Month, the cover is going to kind of be different anyway. It's going to be in a different format.
Listen, Book of the Month has been disappointing me lately, so. Can we also talk about how, and this is a valid point, how Kat kept saying this reminds her of Dr. Phil?
Yeah. Yes.
But then there was
actual references, yeah.
A reference to Dr. Phil. He's just like a ripoff Dr. Phil. I can't.
I don't remember, like, how did they both end up at the bar? Because it kind of seems like that's not necessarily where either of them hang out.
I don't remember how he ended up there. For her, it was her birthday. Didn't she, like, go out? Maybe she was upset because of the, like, whole retiring to Florida part.
Oh, her whole birthday was trash.
Yeah.
Because, like, everybody was so wrapped up in her sister's wedding stuff.
Yes, but actually, speaking of her birthday, can we talk about how her sister got her a vibrator for her birthday present, and then the grandma got
my God. The amount of times that the grandmother was like pulling out the vibrator and being like, "This is the only thing that calms me," like rubbing it on her neck. Like,
grandma. It's like, grandma, no. I think she was supposed to be out with friends, and then for some reason she couldn't be out with her friends. I'm still trying to find it. Oh yeah, she went out with friends, but then her friends left and she stayed for a little bit. And then had almost hook up.
That whole thing was kind of interesting too. That he got a call and just bounced.
I must have like slightly like zoned out during that, because I don't think I realized that he got a call and then left. I thought he just up and left.
She said something about her sweater being around her head, like they were.
Yeah, it was like stuck on her earrings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I had realized. I must have like zoned out at some point because I did not realize that.
I love how, like, regardless of what family they're in, the auntie spirit is essentially universal in regards to their overprotectiveness, their stalkerish tendencies, their gossiping, their knowing everything, and not being bashful about it at all. Just the amount of times that the auntie was like, "I have your credit card information. I have your social security number. Don't test me." Like,
they are the same across the board, with this book, with Arsenic and Adobo, what's the other one I just read? Dial A for Aunties.
Yeah.
Like, they are just the same across the board.
They're the best. Was there, I know you kind of like mentioned the pacing in regards to it feeling slow in the beginning, but was there anything that you wish had happened that didn't happen, or anything that happened that you were sort of disappointed in?
Not that I can think of. I mean, how do I word this? There were a lot of different things. Like, it was dad's retiring. She likes cars.
There was a lot of different things.
But in the end, they kind of worked. Like, I mean, by the end, I was like really satisfied with the book. So something had to have worked. But I think that's where I got confused with the synopsis in the beginning, because of all these different aspects. And I'm like, I don't understand how this is working.
Yeah, because I think like her sister getting married and also being an influencer, and that's how she ended up on the Dr. Dill show, and Karina being a lawyer that just switched jobs. And she's like helping, I think she was helping like entrepreneur women.
I love spam Amazon.
Oh, you know what was really funny? You know what I did like? The text conversations.
Mm-hmm.
The text conversations, not just between her and Preem, but like on all the dating apps that she was on, every time like somebody, oh nice, 4 paws in a book says, I just read this for my Goodreads romance video. What did you think of it? But I loved, and not that I've spent much time on like modern dating apps, because I've been married for quite some time, but you know, I've seen screenshots of people talking about how guys like will message somebody and then immediately jump into like, let's bang, let's fuck, or let's meet up, or like, and the fact that that was in there, and she was just constantly blocking people.
block
Right. Yeah.
I'm wondering if this is going to end up on the Goodreads Choice Awards for romance, because it's on my predictions now. It wasn't on my predictions until after I read it, but I don't know where I was going with that. So I wanted to see what the rating was on Goodreads.
Hold on, let me see if
I think it has good ratings. Oh, well. It has a 3.75.
There we go. So 4 paws in a book says it was 3.5 stars. It was funny. Loved the dating app conversations.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I know they each had like 2 friends that were kind of like balancing out their interactions and stuff. I don't feel like her friends stood out that much to me, though.
No, and the next book is following one of the friends, which is why I'm like, I hope it's going to be as good as this book was.
Okay, she says, if you like the family aspect of this book, I'd recommend The Wedding Crasher by Mia Sosa. Similar extended family vibes. I have that. I have not read it, so I need to check that out.
That's what I was going to ask you. I've read The Wedding Crasher. Actually, yeah, that's what I just read. What am I? Oh, I'm thinking of The Worst Best Man. I've read both of those, though, and The Wedding Crasher, I agree, kind of had the same vibes as this, in the sense where it was like, kind of started off where I was like, I don't know where this is going, and then it like ended on like a high note. I think. I don't know what my rating was for it, though.
But you said I should read the other one before Wedding Crasher, right?
I mean, you can read either or in whatever order. I am the type of person where it's like, if they are even like remotely connected.
Yeah, making a reference or anything.
Yeah, it's like I have to read them in publishing order. But I just read The Wedding Crasher not that long ago. I'm trying to see what I rated it. I give it 5 stars, apparently. So.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. But.
What did you think about like when Preem showed up to her sister's party and just essentially like told everybody off?
Honestly, some of them needed to hear it, especially the sister, because the sister was such a brat that like it was one of those things where it's like, I understood it because the family was like, oh, you need to get married, you need to do this, you need to do that. And it's like, why can't you accept her? Like, let her be 30, flirty, and thriving. I don't know. But when the dad like tried to like punch him, or maybe he did punch him, I can't remember.
He did punch him.
That it was like, okay, this is like escalating like way beyond. And then, oh my God, when the sister like turned on her and was like, you ruined everything. It's like, your dad is paying for this entire thing. What is wrong with you?
I know at some point, like when Preem and Karina decided they were going to go ahead and get married, I thought it was funny that he was like, well, you can't plan it anywhere. I mean, out of respect, obviously. He's like, can't plan it anywhere near your sister's thing. She'll lose her shit. I can't steal her moment. Although who knows how long in the future that she ended up eloping anyway.
Good. Well, but now I wonder what's like, for me, it's like, but all the money that's gone into this. Like,
I mean, but it just kind of emphasizes how bratty she was and how little she cared about everybody else.
Yes, but I mean, you know where my head is, because I'm planning a wedding right now too, and I'm like, I know my venue contract, and I know that I do not get any of that. I
mean, but when it's someone else's money,
that's terrible.
It's terrible. Yes,
technically it is someone else's money, but still.
There are people that think that way.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But good for Bindu that her fiance didn't end up being a creep, even though we expected him to. The next book, is it about, because one of her friends kept talking about the restaurant owner where Karina and Preem were gonna hook up in his office? Is it those two that?
Okay, let me see. So the next book is, I don't know where. Is Bunty, which is the friend, and Bobby. So I need to see if Bobby is one of the friends of him. I was just at the scene too where they were at his restaurant. So now I'm like, I don't know.
Because I think his other friend was Deeps.
Oh, excuse me. Bunty is his friend, and Bobby is her friend.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. But is he the restaurant owner?
I think so. Hold on. Where is it? It literally just said something about restaurants. Yes, Bunty is the restaurant person.
Okay. All right. That kind of makes sense. What did you think about how like things wrapped up in the end, specifically in regards to Preem coming to his like love acknowledging moment, kind of dissecting the reasons why he was feeling the way he was and why he wasn't telling people he loved them? And
I mean, I'm glad he finally like reached a point of understanding, because I thought he was never going to. I'm like, is this going to be just a bunch of back and forth of like, I'm going to be with you, but I can never love you. I'm glad he finally reached something.
I mean, I liked that it was a conversation with his mom, and that it was like,
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It was kind of funny though, because in a way she explained why he behaved that way, and it was mostly because she didn't say I love you all the time, but like she both chastised him and like kind of didn't really take responsibility for doing what she did, like not saying I love you. I don't remember if she had good reasons for not saying. I think she was just like, well, I show it every day, and every day I love you and your dad more. But
I think they were good enough reasons, but just because the way that she was speaking, like if she's like, every time that I, did XYZ, blah, 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 blah. I do it because I love you. So, I mean, I would say they're good reasons, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a mom. You tell me.
I mean, I don't know. I'm one of those people that like really dives into vulnerability. So if I'm ever feeling something, I say it, and whether the person says it back, whether somebody feels different, like, you know, I don't even consider that. I just like, if I have feelings, I have to share them with you. That's kind of how I feel about it. I also liked all the mention of food. And it's definitely like, yeah, I kind of like, because I feel like I have read a few books now where food has been incorporated into the stories. You know, sometimes the books include recipes, and as far as I know, this one didn't have that. But just the mentions of the different types of food, like they all sounded interesting, and I kind of want to check them out.
They always make me hungry though. Like I was reading, I was buddy reading One Italian Summer a couple of months ago, and it's set in Italy. And
Right.
she's talking about all this food that she's eaten, and I'm just like, yeah, that sounds so
good. So I really liked just this story overall. I liked how it wrapped up. And like, I'm wondering what the jumping off point is going to be for the second book. Like, we already know who the characters are, but I wonder, like, because it seemed like in this book they were trying to connect, although I don't remember the exact reason why her friend was trying to connect with the restaurant owner or anything like that.
All I know is I hope we see their wedding in that book.
Oh, that would be nice.
Or if like it's like a pre-order incentive, like you get like a short story of their wedding or something like that. I don't know. I have to look into that.
That would be cool too.
Yeah.
I wonder like how traditional their wedding will be for them.
I guess we'll see. I don't know. Maybe she'll just go along with it to go along with it.
Do you think there was anything about Preem that came off as him being a fuckboy as opposed to just Karina just calling him that?
Yes, like, well, maybe not. I was gonna say from the beginning perspective of like, you left me here stuck in my sweater. Yes,
but I mean, like,
from like, well, but then they also had like their like random hookups, but like then he's like, I can't say that I love you, and it's like, so what is this?
Yeah, I guess. But like, what did you think about like, did you feel like he was too jealous?
Of what?
Well, because she was insistent that she was like, no, this isn't going to be an actual thing. I'm going to keep dating. I'm going to keep talking to people.
Yes, maybe not in the beginning, but definitely like as they were like hooking up more, and then she was like, no, I still have to keep looking. And it's like, why? It's right there.
I don't know. I thought the whole D&D thing was like hysterical.
I feel like that could have been taken out and the entire book would still be perfectly fine.
But I thought it was so funny because she actually like references the actor from True Blood, who apparently I didn't know until reading this actually plays D&D and was on Critical Role. So I thought that was hilarious.
It's like, what are we going to say? I don't know if you want to call it like, if it was supposed to be like comedic relief or whatever, but first of all, like, why is she so dense that she would go with a stranger to not even to his house, to his friend's house?
I mean, he made it intriguing by being like, well, I'm going to go play with some celebrities, some high profile celebrities.
That could have been a lie.
I mean, it could have been a lie. You're right.
I mean, for the sake of the book, obviously it wasn't, but still, it was like,
Did she? Oh, she told her friends though. She told her friends, and she sent a picture of his driver's license, so she felt like she was safe.
Because she asked for the license. Honestly, that's okay. So that would have been so smart because Will and I met online, but instead of like taking a picture of his driver's license, I told somebody, whoever, I was like, "This is where I'm at. This is what time I'm meeting. Blah blah blah. If you don't hear from me by this time, call me." So like, obviously, I should have just taken a picture of the license.
I mean, I don't know how many people would just allow that. I was surprised that the guy was like, "Yeah, sure, take a picture of my license," but you know, she had a.
I mean, in a world that's full of online dating now, I mean, it makes sense, I guess.
I like that him in particular, it just gave the author an opportunity to kind of showcase that, you know, people have their hobbies, their quirks, their insecurities. You know, there's things that they're just not really willing to share immediately, because I don't think he was even going to tell her about that. He was assuming that that date was going to go horribly, and he was just going to jet off to go play D&D, and that's all he cared about. So, you know, I think incorporating that vulnerability in regards to dating, because I can kind of relate to that. Just I'm super excited about lots of different fandoms and hobbies, and if you show that right off the bat, some people are immediately turned off by that. So I think it was cool that she was still able to hang out and learn some stuff and also hang out with celebrities, and it made Preem jealous, and he went to go pick her up anyway. So it created further connection between them. I don't know if there's anything else you might want to add. I don't know if there's much more.
The only thing I can think of is like he I mean, obviously he's a doctor and he has a TV show, so he's got money, but like they were like always talking about like his whatever he drives, like a Porsche or whatever, his fancy car.
He was an Audi.
I know, and I'm like trying to show off that you're a rich bitch. Like, what's going on here?
I mean, that's kind of nice too. Like it would be nice to live a life where I didn't have to worry about a next paycheck, or just to be able to live comfortably, just to be like, I can take care of life. So congrats to them. Congrats to Karina for finding, meeting, insulting, fighting with the whole package.
Now I'd like the next book.
Oh my God. I almost totally forgot about this. Why did his penis have a name?
What?
Do you not remember that?
No.
He referred to his penis as Charlie.
Oh wait, I think I did remember. I think I did remember hearing that at some point. I was like, what?
I remember I kept hearing it and I was like, I'm going to have to ask Chloe about this, because really? I mean, I guess some people do that. It just felt really weird. I think that was like the weirdest part of the book for me.
Yeah, it's weird.
Because he referred to it that way pretty frequently. I don't think she ever did, because I don't think he said me Charlie, but like
Charlie, God. Okay.
But that was interesting. I felt like that was the quirkiest thing in there. So I'm gonna have to
anyway.
Maybe the author's on TikTok. I follow her on TikTok. Maybe I'll ask her what that was all about.
I should go look at her TikTok.
So do you have any final thoughts?
I really liked it. 4.5 stars, and I'm ready for the next book.
And I really liked it. I love the family dynamic. I think Preem was a good, what's the word I'm looking for? Romantic interest. I think he had a lot going on. I think he had depth. I think all the characters, for the most part, had depth. And I I do want to read more of her stuff, and I give it 4 stars. So next quarter, I don't have the book for that. I don't know if you have a cover that you can show.
I can. I was actually wondering when this comes out because I can't remember. Okay, yeah, it comes out at the end of this month.
So next quarter, we're reading 3 Kisses, 1 Midnight by Roshani, Chokshi, Evelyn, Skye,
and Sandhya Menon.
And so
it comes out at the end of this month.
Do you have the date for our discussion? I think it's like November something.
We should probably check that and make sure it's not the weekend of Yelp Fest. Knowing me, I would have done that anyway. There it is. I'm like, where's the spreadsheet? Okay, good. It's the weekend before. It's going to be on Sunday, November 6th at 6 p.m.
Okay.
Eastern. And I'm hoping it's got the Halloween fall vibes. It's like a witchy story.
Yeah, it sounded like it was. I'm interested to find out how all 3 authors collaborate in this.
Because I'm on Sandhya Menon's street team, and she would talk about this in some of her live shows. So like I've been hearing about it for a while, at least the past 2 years, maybe. So I'm excited about it. I have an e-arc, but I'm probably not going to get to it before.
Yeah, I have one
closer.
also.
Yeah, it'll probably be closer to the day, and the cover is beautiful. I love the cover.
It is.
All right. I don't know if it's let me look real quick. I don't know if it's adult or YA.
I thought it was adult, but I'm not sure.
This says young adult. It also says it's an anthology, so I'm wondering if they're like, did they write 3 separate short stories that are all connected?
Is it an anthology? Because I thought it wasn't.
I thought it wasn't either. Hold on.
Like I thought we had that discussion before we picked it. Because I was like, if it's an anthology.
The synopsis doesn't make it sound like an anthology. It sounds like maybe it's a connected story. Maybe we're following 3 different characters and each of them wrote one character. Maybe it's like My Lady Jane.
Right.
Well, it's too late now.
We're moving ahead with it. So it's happening.
We're invested. We have said it. It's happening. So regardless of whether it's an anthology or not, we're gonna
we'll figure it out. I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure there'll be lots of stuff to discuss. So anyway, if you've popped in, if you've left comments, thank you. Thank you for being here. 4 Paws in a Book. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you guys are still hanging out, and we'll see you next quarter. Bye.